I just want to thank the SCA and Tanach study for this beautiful day of celebration, and especially mention that this day of celebration is in memory of Mr. Stanley Chera A by the Chera family. So thank you. We had a full day of learning on Sunday. All the classes, if anyone missed them, are on our YouTube page, but it can be accessed through scatorah.org, as well as all of our classes today can be found on scatorah.org. We had a beautiful, beautiful morning. We partnered with Bet Torah, beautiful shachrit, organized by Rabbi Eisenkot and Yechezkel Sion, Hazanim. Really, Rabbi Eisenkot, beautiful job. To your committee, especially Jack Dweck for helping make this happen. Lastly, I just want to thank you guys, Joey and Kady, for giving us this time of day. We're looking forward to an engaging panel. So I guess just to start off, so for all those who are joining now, we encourage throughout, put all your questions in the Zoom chat. Don't unmute yourselves, just put the questions in the chat. I also have my own questions that were sent in over the last few hours. So I'm going to be reading from there and then also keeping my eye on the chat. So I guess just to start, why don't you guys give us a quick introduction of who you are, maybe your names, how long you've been living in Israel, why you made Aliyah, all that for anyone who maybe doesn't know you somehow.
You go first.
Okay, my name is Joey Harari. Born in Brooklyn, grew up in the community, went to Magen David Elementary School. Active in Ahava B'Ahava in the 80s, in the Bnei Yitzhak in the 90s, and had the big zechut and the privilege 20 years ago, almost to the day, not to the day, a few months ago, it was our 20th anniversary of our making Aliyah, which was at the end of 1999. And it's been just, my only regret is that I didn't make Aliyah 20 years earlier. And Baruch Hashem, we were very much part of the community. We were very active. We're still very involved with the community on various levels. And I guess this Q&A was number one, to give a little bit more information about our lives here for those who are interested, curious, just want to connect with their brethren in Eretz Israel. So we're here to provide that experience and that information for you. Regarding why we made Aliyah, I'm sure we'll get to that a little bit later on. Why don't you go ahead, Kady?
Hi, I'm Kady Harari, for those who don't know me. My maiden name was Dweck. My father was Dennis Dweck, alav shalom, a huge force in the community, legend. My mother, God bless her, Nina. I'm just so proud to be part of that family, of the community. I'm so proud to be living here in Eretz Israel, and I have the zechut, I have the merit to both be part of our great community and be part of Eretz Israel, and it's just such a huge blessing. Like Joey said, we're here 20 years, and I thank Hashem every day for this zechut. It is a merit. I don't take it for granted one single day. I wake up every day in awe. Some days it's a roller coaster. It's a very passionate life over here. I'm sure the questions will bring out that passion in us. So I'll let Victor start with the questions.
Okay, thank you so much. So like I said before, I fielded a bunch of questions over the past 24 hours on our Instagram. If anyone's not following, quick plug, SCA_updates on Instagram. So I fielded a lot of questions, but by far the most popular question that people sent in was, why did you make Aliyah? So let's start there.
Should I go first?
You can go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I came here when I was 18 with my sister Sharon. And I got off the plane, I kissed the ground. First time we were ever on a plane. And it was such a not rational pull. It was something very deep, deep inside of me that I didn't even know existed. Somewhere very deep in my neshama, I felt home, and that was it. And I just knew one day I would get here, and that was really the start of it. Mr. Eliach in Flatbush High School, I took a Zionist class with him, and he started that love of this country. When I came here, that sort of sealed it, and then the rest is history.
Very nice. Never heard that story. The question, like you said, Victor, is asked about us, is asked to us all the time. We have many people over on Shabbatot, and students and parents and so on. And the first question they ask is, why did you make Aliyah? And usually, from my answer, they're actually quite disappointed. And because they ask me why, and my answer is simple, it's because I'm Jewish. And they say, no, really. I said, really, I'm Jewish. that's the truth. It didn't. The Aliyah wasn't part of an emotional pull like Kady's experience was. And everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own experiences. I can only relate my own personal journey. Like I said, we grew up religious family, traditional family in the community. And David. We went to Kady, we prayed. We did have both my grandparents were living in Israel, as well as a vast majority of my uncles and aunts and all of my cousins basically were living in Israel. So the Israel discussion was always not moving to Israel, but the Israel as being part of our lives was always part of our lives growing up. It wasn't until I came to Israel also, first time on a plane was when we came, I came post high school. It was a 6-month program. I ended up staying for 2 years. And then everything just came together. Everything just made sense. My identity, how I identify myself as a Jew. Everything just made sense. And it was as you say, Abraham, first time God speaks to him, then when he leaves Lot, he says, and then Mar Akidah is the Shibu'ah, and Yitzhak and Yaakov. And you read throughout, the reason we went out of Egypt was to worship Borei Olam and to receive the land, and the land is part of all the blessings. And we understood this as we were growing up. We learned, but it didn't become part of me, at least. So when I came to Israel, and everything made sense, and it was a very almost a rational decision. I don't even know if I call it a decision. It was just a natural progression of being a Jew. It's like putting on tefillin. You have to put on tefillin, you have to move to Israel. Now, getting here wasn't as easy as just deciding. Deciding was the easy part. Getting here took, after we were married for a few years, we came to Israel for 2 years, simply because we had the opportunity to, and so we took the opportunity, and then trying to figure out how to get back. And the decision was very easy.
I guess to follow up on that, I'm understanding that the decision was easy, but was there any one specific experience or moment where you said, now I'm going to make Aliyah?
No, that's the point I'm making. It wasn't like, once you realize that your identity is that of a Jew, and then you come to Israel and it sort of cements that identity. And then, look, we pray every day. That's all we've been praying for 2,000 years. That's 3/4 of the tefillah. We read the Nevi'im and Zechariah and Amos and Yehezkel and Yeshaya. That's all they talk about. And so I look at the mirror and I say, I got to be honest with myself. I have to be real. I can't look at myself as some kind of fraud. Again, that's my own journey. That's my personal journey. It doesn't make sense that, Galut is a punishment. And up until 1948, which we're celebrating today, the Yom Haasmaut and Chag Sameach to everybody, Up until 48, we didn't have a choice. It was a very, very difficult choice. But post 48, it's a choice. And I'm saying to myself, why would anybody want to choose to live a punishment? It didn't make sense to me. And so there wasn't any one point. It was just a question of finally coming to terms with who I am and saying, I just got to do what's right. And there's what to be said for just for yourselves, not for anybody else, just for doing the right thing for yourself. And of course there's a cost. Of course there's I'm sure we'll get into the questions afterwards. Of course there's trade-offs and this, but it's the halakha. It's Rambam, it's Ramban, it's Maran, it's the halakha. So you say, how can I be authentic to myself? I'm in New York, I'm giving classes, I'm this, I'm a gabbai, this, and I look at myself and I say, no, I'm not living honestly, and I have to live honestly. So the question not is Israel is a better life, physically, standard of living, quality of life. Those are not questions to be asked. No one asks you when you have to put on tefillin, what the day is looking like. You get up in the morning, you put on tefillin. When I came to my senses and I understood, I came to Israel, and the decision was made pretty much when I was, I would say, 18. When I was in Israel, that's when I made the decision. Again, it was always on the radar, the focus. My life's decisions between 18 and until I made Aliyah were all centered around, is this going to further and ease my transition to Israel, or will it make it more difficult? And if it would make it more difficult, the choice of business, the choice of product, if it would make it more difficult, I wouldn't do it, because that would be counter to who I am. So that's pretty much why I said that.
Okay.
So Victor, you asked about when the decision was made, like when.
Yeah.
So Joey came home one day from work, and the house was packed up in boxes.
I had no idea.
Literally. We spoke about it, and we spoke about it.
Bought the house.
We spoke about it. We bought the house a few years before here in Israel, this house.
That you're currently in, right?
Current house. And he went to work, he got up in the morning, went to work, I got up in the morning, I went to work, and we were never moving towards that beautiful goal that we had until I just decided one day to call the movers, pack up the house. I gave him a choice of 2 dates when the cargo ship was taking off, and that was it. So that was logistic.
Okay, so for all the wives out there, the way to make Aliyah is just pack up when your husband's at work one day, and we'll take care of the rest. Tell me about the hikes in Israel, and the beautiful nature. The hikes.
We just came from Purim, I think it was.
That was the day of Purim.
So this year we had so much beracha in the rain. More than, we're here 20 years. I never, ever, ever saw the landscape like it was. I was screaming in the car. We drove to the Kinneret. We drove to the Galilee to see the Kinneret. Because Emek HaYarden up to the Kinneret. The flowers in bloom, the fields and fields of the grass was up to our knees, never on mountains. Those mountains are beige all the time. They were vibrant green. Fields of red anemones, yellow flowers. I mean, we just kept saying Pesukim because it was so magnificent. There was never anything like this ever in the 20 years that we're here.
Kind of like Brooklyn. Kind of like living in Brooklyn when you're driving down.
It's unfortunate because it's very interesting. The rainfall here is taken very, very seriously, as anybody who's lived in Israel knows. Every 8-year-old kid knows what the Kinneret level is.
Every centimeter, all the time.
And when it rains, everybody's happy. It's like so different than when we grew up. Rain, go away, and raining. Here it rains, everybody's dancing. And it's unfortunate because if it wasn't for the corona, this is the first time in nearly 30 years, I don't know how many years, that the Kinneret is, we're maybe 10 centimeters away. The snow still has to melt from the Hemot. first time that they're going to have to open up the dams in Degania and the people of Degania. This would be a national song. You got people dancing
really,
in the street. And you can't because you feel bad. But there's
but it's gorgeous.
nature here is unbelievable. I remember taking, we went on a hike on when we took my mother.
Yes.
We
Yes,
went.
yes.
Yeah, we went once. My mother, of course, made Aliyah about 10 years ago. We were very fortunate because after we made Aliyah, I had 4 nieces, 1 nephew, and the spouses and families. My mom, my sister made Aliyah about a year ago. Really, things are really fantastic, and so many.
I'm waiting for my family.
So many from the community are coming. But what was the point I was making? So we went to an hike in Zavidan. We went. And my mom was with us, and it was a serious hike, and she was a trooper.
And she was wearing flip-flops. Never forget that.
Yeah.
Yes. We know your mom is a huge trooper. Making Aliyah at the age of what?
80. She made at the age of 80.
She made Aliyah at the age of 80. That's really beautiful.
Still
making the kak? Still making the kak, right?
Still making
well,
the
you
kak.
don't smell it?
I don't smell it. I got my own. It just doesn't have that same flavor as Israel. It's just not the same. Moving on to the next question. How are holidays different in Israel than in America? If you could just take us through, I guess, 3 or 4 specific holidays and tell us the differences.
You want to do Pesach?
Well, the whole holiday here, let's say Pesach or Sukkot, it's the week-long holidays. The whole week is a holiday. The Hol HaMoed is like a holiday feel. The whole country's on vacation. Everyone's touring. There's festivals. There's parades. It's just such a beautiful spirit here that it's not like the holiday's over. First of all, it's one day. So
right.
You enjoy it so much more and you're not dreading that second day. So that one day is so festive and beautiful. And then Hol HaMoed is already a vacation. It really is. It's just a very festive feel here. It's not like you're going back to work and doing your thing. It's where you're supposed to be. This is Eretz Yisrael, so the holidays were meant to be here. So it's interesting.
In New York, we work on Hol HaMoed. We go to work. So really, the holiday is the first day and the last day. And here, the entire country is off. The entire country.
Wow.
And there's so much happening. So I go to Knis I remember the first year in 2000, Pesach was the first holiday that was in the neighborhood here. And I go to Knis the first day of Hol HaMoed. And not this, they're not people of means. They're people that have been around in this neighborhood. It was a poor neighborhood for the most part. You go into the Knis and everybody's got a suit and tie on. And I'm not used to that. So what's going on? He says, holiday. Man, hug. I said, okay. They take the holidays very seriously. And everybody's out. Everybody, the parks, the roads, the Galil, the Golan.
Yes.
And then there's every holiday has its unique, the Birkat Kohanim at the Kotel, which is a sight to behold. Sukkot, where you have all the nations from all over the world coming to celebrate.
It's really something. You have a parade maybe half a minute from my house down Bezalel Street with nations from all over the world.
Wow.
Just declaring their love for Zion, for Eretz Yisrael, and giving out candy and giving out flags and giving out.
There's tens of thousands
of people and
Vietnamese and this and Russians
and it's
wild.
It's living the Nevi'im. Really, it's the Nevi'im coming to life. Just seeing that, it's really something special.
Wow. How is Yom Haasmaut usually celebrated? I know this year because of Corona, it's not really. Yes.
The ceremony, which they had it last night, but without a crowd, without an audience. People kick it off with the transition from Yom HaZikaron to Yom Haasmaut, from Memorial Day to Independence Day. And I gotta tell you, Memorial Day here, unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's like the feel is like Yom Kippur on steroids.
Yeah, it's heavy and sad.
Everybody's crying. Everybody's crying. It's real Memorial Day. All the television shows is about stories about our fallen heroes. All of the radios about the stories. It's really something very moving. We go to the terror victims gathering every Yom Haasmaut. It's very, very moving. Then they kick right after the transition. They have that beautiful ceremony, and after that, people generally go out, party.
There's the whole town in Jerusalem. There's different stations where there's music and dancing, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the street.
Everybody's dancing.
Everyone's dancing. Everyone's just having a great time. Every restaurant open and bars and just fun. And then Kikar Sephra Square, they have Israeli dancing till maybe 3 or 4 in the morning. It's phenomenal.
Really, we have
really
in Addis, we have a very, very special tefillah. The place is jam-packed. We have a great Hazani. We have a big drasha. The Hachamim come and they make the special tefillot. It's very moving. And then after the tefillot in the morning, basically every single family goes on a outdoor barbecue.
Every single person in the whole entire country.
It's like Chok V'lo Ya'avor, And it's very nice. It's very nice. Yeah, it's just very nice. I gotta tell you.
Wow, that sounds beautiful.
Any of you have the opportunity to come here these 2 days, Memorial Day and Yom Haasmaut, highly recommended.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember my year in Israel.
It
was something very special. I only did it once my year in Israel, and it was beautiful. It was raining, and everyone still had barbecues in the park. I remember pouring rain, and they said, "Well, you have to do it." It's like you said, Chok V'lo Ya'avor. What would you guys say are your most, if you can pick one of your most meaningful experiences or proudest moment of being an Israeli? Did you ever have one of those moments? It could be as small as a taxi ride or a conversation you had with someone where you said, "Wow, that's beautiful. I'm proud to identify with these people."
It's almost daily. No, I'm not even joking. Yeah. I'm really not joking. It's an almost daily occurrence that something happens, like you said, from the basta in the shuk.
They don't have a basta.
From the stands in the shuk to the taxi drivers to the old lady crossing the street. I can't explain how the Shekhinah is here. It's so clear. And it's so present that every tiny little aspect of life, you say, wow. You just say, wow, all the time. In 20 years to pick one, I can't.
I can't pick one specific, but I'm thinking one category of experiences that, unfortunately, when we came, a few months after we came, the Intifada broke out, the second Intifada, and it was very rough. And then followed, so we've been through a couple of Intifadas, we've been through about 4 wars, and when there's the attacks from the rockets in the north or the attacks from the rockets in the south happened a number of times that we were here. When you see the country coming together, it's mind-blowing. The level of netina, of selflessness, of giving, of offering. So when the problems were in the north, so the entire southern region from Jerusalem south invited families to just stay with them for maybe a week.
Just random. Open their homes.
And then when it happened in the north, what happened in the south, so people from the north invited the people from the south. You get, unfortunately, in these times is when you really feel the sense of a nation, but and I go back to one of the reasons of besides the commandment of that you have to have sovereignty over the land, you have to inhabit the land, and it can't be desolate. There's that the feeling of being part of a nation, being part of something really, really big. And I would say we see it, unfortunately we see it more in wartime, but it's not the point. The point is it's there. It's there, the people have it, and when there's other people in need, I mean, I heard Rabbi Luke speaking about the volunteers now during the corona to the elderly. Can't imagine, but and the sacrifice of the soldiers, of course, but it's just the population here is really one nation. You know, everybody likes to accentuate the differences and all that, but when push comes to shove, when you're in the trenches, it's just one big family. And the relationships we've developed with people who, I mean, these are long-lasting, lifetime friendships that we have with people who we would have never, ever been in touch with under normal circumstances. But in Israel, it's possible.
So one wow moment from today, my sister-in-law Gracie actually told me about it, then I saw it on the news, speaking about the old people, grandparents who were separated from their families. The soldiers got together and they actually brought like this crane to an old age home, I think it was in Netanya, and lifted up the grandchildren up on the crane to deliver flowers to their grandparents. No,
Israeli innovation at its finest.
It was just.
But these are cases. These really, if you're sensitive to it, it's every
all around you.
Day, all day. It's wild.
Wow. Looking at some of the questions of follow-ups, and I also have one or two of the same category. Was there ever a moment where you felt homesick and thought of maybe moving back to America? And to build on that, like, do you ever miss family and friends? I'm sure it wasn't easy right away to move and, leave your close friends.
So I have to just like scan the people, see if my mother is on the Joking, Ma. Hi, Ma. I love you. Of course, listen, family is family and they'll always be family. But there's a point in life where you have your dream and your passion, and sometimes it isn't the same route as your families, as your mothers, or as your siblings. So when does, let's say, my dream, begin and theirs end, or it's just different routes. So there's a point that comes that you do have to really go inside and listen to your heart and your soul and your passion and see where that goes. And unfortunately, when it's not on the same path as your families, it's hard. But would I give up my dream? I go back and I visit and they come here, and when I go back and I see my friends, it's like I saw them yesterday, because friends from kindergarten, literally over 50 years, they'll always be my friends, no matter what. That's the community. It's incredible. It's amazing. So, yeah,
what would you guys say was the hardest part of your adjustment of moving to Israel?
Finding a good barber. No, I'm not. I'm being funny. But that's key, by the way. I feel bad to say that we really didn't have a transition, because we had the fortune of being also next to Addis.
Well, also
next to the Knis.
But also Joey had, and it's different again. Our journey, our experience is so different than any others, because Joey had over 60 first cousins here who were like his brothers, and his aunts and uncles who, we came here in 1999 and they hugged us and they showed us the ropes and showed us the way, which is incredible. So that was a huge plus. So there are difficulties that you get up, and it's not like I want to run home. It's just a difficult day like any other day.
You need fila. There's no good fila. You can't get good fila. I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be funny. That there's things which you don't have.
Oh, the dust storms. There's dust storms here that we just don't have in New York. So you clean all the windows for Pesach, and always, like the week or two after you clean them, there's a dust storm. And all the windows are like orange dust. And it gets in the house, and it gets in everywhere. That's frustrating.
I don't think that's what he's talking about.
Oh.
Gotcha. So guys, just for those who are taking notes, it's barber and the dust in Israel. Otherwise,
the dust. I lost the battle with the dust.
When you have good friends, distance doesn't mean anything.
It really doesn't. And
anything.
Family, it never.
You have strong connections to the family, distance doesn't mean anything. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Do you miss them? Like when I had little children, I'm homesick. No, get over it. You're homesick, get over it. You start living your life.
And because of the fact that I don't see my mother all the time, when I do go back, we make it a point to take a trip somewhere together. So we've been to so many different places alone. So I get to spend quality time with her, away from all the, like if she came to Israel, I was in New York, there'd be a lot of distractions. So I make it a point, a very conscious effort to go away with her once a year. And we just have a fabulous time, and it's a great connection, and there's nothing like it. Very special.
I do miss, actually, to be very serious, I do miss, which is a development more in the diaspora than in Israel. I do miss big synagogues. I do miss, and especially as a former gabbai, I miss this 500, 600, 700 people in the knesset. We don't have that here unless you go to, let's say, to outside of Yerushalayim and maybe certain other cities. So I do miss that. I do miss the feeling of a huge crowd at a knesset. But I mean, truth is, I wouldn't give up Adis for one Shabbat for 100 Shabbatot anywhere else in the world. That's the truth. And you know that, Victor.
Right. Well, you're not missing out on much right now. I can assure you everything's closed in Brooklyn. Can't get in even if you tried.
Here also.
Yeah, we're having a tough time with that. Yeah.
What would be your advice for future couples who want to make Aliyah? Let's say young couples thinking about making Aliyah. In a couple of sentences, what would you tell them right now?
Come.
Listen, life.
Don't think too much.
Yeah, just make sure you're in love. And
you know what?
With
There's
the
a
land,
lot of challenges here that you really need to love Israel and really be very passionate about coming here, because it's very different from the community. So you're going to need all that passion and love to get you through the
bureaucracy.
Yeah, the bureaucracy and all the.
Listen, it's a new way of doing things, and it's not as easy for somebody, for any immigrant. Like when my parents came from Egypt, I'm sure it was not sure. I know it was extremely difficult. So for us, there are things there which are difficult. So I would encourage anybody that listen. If they're doing it for the right reasons, right, and everybody's journey is very personal. Life's an adventure. I mean, every day you wake up and then, go for it.
on the flip side of that, what would be your thoughts on established family with older children making Aliyah? Having the challenge of, quote unquote, pulling your kids out of school. Socially, it's not easy for them, and things like that.
I don't know if we're capable of answering that question, but our nieces and nephews moved. I think
The kids were younger though.
all had different stages. I think they were all different stages. Most of them came when they were very young. Definitely, listen, if they come high school, there's more of a challenge.
I remember when our good friends Saul and Miriam Tower came. You should have them up for a session also. So I remember they had, they all decided, I think Ezra was 12 at the time or something. So it was, and now the guy's a fighter, he's in an elite unit in the army. I think he just got married. I mean, so yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you probably should go to families that came with all the children to get to get a better response from us.
But there are so many families here that if people are really interested, there's so many people to ask before taking that step. Just do that investigative groundwork but don't think much.
Yeah, you have to choose the right schools. Very, very crucial. There are neighborhoods which are more Anglo, which make for an easier transition and for an easier ability for children to find friends and such. So I mean, whoever's in that situation needs to do a little bit more homework. That's all.
So on that note, where do you see us as a community being able to move to? Or do you even think there's a need to stay together as a community once we get to Israel? Like how does the concept of a community or the Syrian community, the Sephardic community work there? Would you recommend in an ideal world everyone go to one specific area, spread out? Is there a need for everyone to still be together once we're in Israel, or is everyone Jewish and you don't even need that immediate community?
Very good question, and we get that question a lot. So my first response is, a lot of times when I'm walking to the shuk and I see a Russian soldier walking with an Ethiopian soldier, and they're both speaking Hebrew, and I'm thinking, wow, this is kibbutz galuyot, and we're watching it happen before our eyes, and it's the ingathering of nations. So everybody's going to melt together, and in another few generations, everyone's going to be Israeli, and that's fabulous. There is something to the community that's unique because it's in America, and we have to be. We have to preserve ourselves as a community there. Over here, I don't know.
I would say.
I don't know.
I would say
I don't think it's that
I think
crucial.
So Joey, let me ask you this: the Minhag of the Week. Why is that important to you? Another quick plug: SCA Minhag of the Week. Check it out on YouTube. Minhag of the Week. Why is that important to you to teach if you're in Israel?
It's important to you. It's not important to me.
You're saying it's more important to the people in America than the people in Israel to learn about Minhagim.
No, we went through this when we started it. The whole inyan of a community having an identity that keeps them in the loop, keeps them in the fold, keeps them in the shamayim and the asiyat and mitzvot. And if you have divisiveness because of lack of understanding of the minhagim, that's not a good thing, and it's very important. Here, far less important. Far, far less important. And to your question, I think whatever brings the community or members of the community here is a positive.
Yeah,
so
whatever they need.
Whatever they need. So if there's a way to get 10, 15 families in one place and they coordinate it, and of course it would be fantastic, but they should know that this is going to last about 10, 12 years. When their kids get older, their kids within 2 years within 1 year will be speaking Hebrew and have Israeli friends. Once they get older and they do the army and they go to the elite units and they go to university, it's also they're going to become part of the fabric of Israel.
Yeah.
The Syrianness of the Syrianness is not as crucial. So the reason for me, I didn't have to think twice of leaving the community that I really loved, and I gave a lot of my time and effort in the community, was because being a Jew is my identity. A Syrian Jew is important, but it's not my identity. And what's going to happen is even the Syrians that come here, by the way, just as a side point, I don't want to get into this conversation, Israel is in the Middle East. We're about 50 miles from Halab, okay? Give or take. Okay, you guys are 6,000 miles from Halab. You're in a Western country. You guys are so Ashkenazi, you don't even know. The Ashkenazim in Israel are more Syrian than the Syrians in Brooklyn. Maybe not how they read the Sefer Torah, but that's a whole other discussion. But that's not the point. The point is, a family comes, they want to feel Syrian, join up with another, it's going to not be as important to them in another 10 years, especially when their kids, when their kids become part of the real Israeli society.
And then when they join the army altogether, that's going to,
What about parents who want to make Aliyah with their kids, but they're afraid to send their kid to the army? What would you tell them?
I can tell them that their kids are going to fight them today. Their kids are going to want to go to the army more than they can ever imagine.
I mean, in Israel, you grow up with the mindset of course I'm going to the army, but to make the conscious decision of my kid's going to be fighting, it's dangerous, what do we do?
I can't answer that question because I didn't do the army, and so I can't answer that question.
You didn't do the army yet?
No, I didn't do the army. I'm not a parent to a kid who did the army, so I can't honestly answer that question. All I can say is that it's a natural fear, but it's a fear when you come here and you see that every single parent is going through the same thing. It doesn't mean that they're not afraid. even Israelis are concerned with sending their kids to the army. But it's such a ingrained in society, and the youth, thank God, is still and it will always be, hopefully, so
fervent and
so
passionate
excited to go to the army, so that the parents are going to end up being so proud of them. But I understand the concern, but I can't really address it because I don't have any personal experience with that concern.
Gotcha. Let's talk for a minute about going to Israel for the year. Do you think that's a must?
No.
Do you think it's for everyone?
No. Do you think it's for everyone?
No.
Who do you think it's not for?
About 95% of people, I'd send them home right away.
Tell me how you really feel, though.
No.
Don't be wishy-washy.
You know what? It's important. It's important for everybody to come to Israel. It's not important. It's not important if the reason you're coming to Israel is to party, or if the reason you're coming to Israel is to, you want to chill, you want to be.
Okay, so I guess let me flip the question. What is it for? Who is the ideal candidate to go to Israel for the year?
It depends. It depends what they want. It depends why they want to come here.
If their choice is, should I go to Israel or should I backpack through Europe for 6 months? Backpack through Europe for 6 months. But if you say, I want to learn about my people, I want to learn about who my nation is, I want to learn, I'm not talking about studying Torah, which is always the ideal reason for a high school graduate to come and learn as much as you can about Torah Sheb'Chtav, Torah She'Ba'al Peh, and Judaism, and give him that vaccination before he goes off to college and gets all messed up. Of course, learning Torah is the ultimate reason to come into Israel. But it doesn't have to be only that. It could be a cultural thing. It could be for a number of reasons. And it doesn't have to even be a yeshiva program. There's a lot of other programs. You want to maybe just learn about the land. You want to travel through the land. But as long as it comes with a thirst for knowledge, for adventure, for identity, I don't know. The guy comes just to leave his house and be on his own for years so he could party hardy. I don't think he's doing any favors to Israel or Yerushalayim or to his parents' money.
Why did you guys decide to live specifically in Jerusalem? Was it being next door to Knis Ades? Talk about maybe for a second the Bakashot, explain what that is to the people who might not know.
Why we specifically picked.
Why Jerusalem and why specifically Nachlaot and why, the whole Israel you have to choose from.
Yeah, that is true. Well, it's
a lot of people usually go to Efrat. A lot of people who make Aliyah, usually that's the go-to quote unquote America spot.
You know what? I have a niece in Efrat with her, Michal and Abraham, with Abraham's whole family there, and they love it. Oh, the rest of my nieces are in Modi'in. They love it. I have one niece who moved to Nachlaot, and she loves it. So there's something for everybody, for sure. We love Jerusalem. We're city people.
Not that it's such a big city.
Not that it's a big city, but it's relatively so. We chose Nachlaot because of the Adeshul, because of the Shuk. It's a 1.5 minute walk for me, and I really can't live without that Shuk. I've been having a very hard time that it's been closed. We're quite close to all the hotels, so when people come visiting, it's maybe a 15-20 minute walk. We're half an hour walk to the Kotel. We're very centrally located. So it's really, it's a hop and a skip to leave the city. We're right by Gan Saket. It's a huge park here, not huge relative to Jerusalem, not relative to New York. It's just very centrally located.
You know what the big advantage, because we did come from a very big community, and because I do, like I mentioned before, I enjoy seeing people from many communities. So Jerusalem was the natural choice, because here's where we're going to see the most people. And the interesting thing is that we've become very, very close to many people in the Syrian communities of Argentina. We're very, very familiar with them, with Mexico, Panama, because everybody converges on Yerushalayim.
And they go to Ades, and then Joey brings them here for Kiddush.
So it's very nice. So you get to see and meet a lot of people. Get very friendly with them, very close with them, And I don't know. We actually we were looking in this neighborhood for many months to find a home near others. I didn't expect to be right next door. That was like a bonus. But it's a big zehut. We every day, like Kady said, it's not taken for granted. When I get up in the morning, I go to Knis. Before I go outside, I say, I can't believe I'm here. It's like 20 years later, I'm still saying, I can't believe I'm here. It's really such a privilege. But there was a time when we thought about living, before we came here, we thought about someplace else. I don't want to mention which city. But there's such beauty in this country. I mean, I could see myself in Rosh Pinah, in Zichron Yaakov. I can't see myself so much in small town, like very small towns, like settlement towns. But I definitely could see myself in many places in Israel. So, but we chose here mainly because of the shuk and the knis.
And also, whoever comes from the community, who comes to Ades, we have such a connection with them. So it's another connection to the community.
Yeah, tell me about that, having company. I know Joey usually brings people over last second, but even the planned company, tell me about having people for the year. I mean, I think I personally ate by you at least 7-8 times in my 30, 40 weeks in my year in Israel. And you guys are known for being the best hosts, of course.
Thank you.
Tell me about what that is for you, having always people who are in seminary or yeshivot or who are just visiting, just having them over and always having a freezer and refrigerator full of food because you never know who Joey's going to bring in the house today.
3 freezers. Who's counting? The first time we were ever alone Shabbat, we were living here 15 years. Wow. Meaning, unless we left the country or went to Tel Aviv for Shabbat or went to one of our relatives, every single Shabbat that we've been in this house, we've had company. And it's a zechut, it's a privilege, it's an honor to see all these yeshiva kids and the seminary girls pass through here and developing a relationship, not only with them, then with their families when they come. So we know hundreds and hundreds of more community members just because we live here. If we lived in New York, we really wouldn't know them. We would pass them on the street and say hello. Hi, how you doing? What's going on? But we develop a much, much deeper relationship with the kids and the parents, and a lot of the kids we're still in touch with really from, I don't know, the first year from 19, 20 years ago. We're still in touch with the kids, and it's a gift. It's a gift for us.
The kids, right now, they're maybe 40 years old. Anyone who went to Israel in the 90s.
Oh, I have to tell you a funny story. So I was in Deal. I think there was a wedding that I came in for, and I need an excuse, of course. And I was in Chocolate Soda, and I see one of the yeshiva kids. He was there maybe 3-4 years ago. He said, "Hi, Kady." I'm like, "Hi." Of course, I didn't recognize him. And he said, "You don't remember me?" I said, "I don't know. You look a little familiar." He's like, "I can't believe you don't remember me." I came to your house, and I said, "Yeah, no, I'm sorry." He goes, "But you brought me chicken soup in the hospital when I was sick." I said, "You know how many people I brought chicken soup to the hospital? You think you're the only one?"
Yeah, sometimes I remember someone, I'm not going to say his name, but someone who I went to school with that would fake sick just to get your chicken soup. One of my roommates, he knows who he is. He would always say, "Just tell Kady I don't feel well. Just tell her to send it to me in the thermal."
And in the thermos, yes, that thermos.
Yeah, the thermos. Sorry.
I've seen miles and miles.
I work with the boys, and I know when I was a student, I was lucky enough to have a lot of family here. But I know that when I was a student, a lot of the friends that I had that didn't have family, that it was difficult. Shabbatot were difficult. So very early on, that we were able to give them a taste of home and the knis and bakashot and the singing and the hazanut, and an experience that they're more familiar with from back home. So I think it keeps them going.
Yeah.
I think it's important. So we were happy to.
And it keeps us in touch with the community, with like a finger on the pulse of what's going on.
Right. Yeah, we've had many long conversations at 4 or 5 a.m. right after Bakashot on that very couch. Tell me, other than making Aliyah, what can we do to help support Israel and be as quote unquote Zionistic as possible, especially on days like today on Yom Haasmaut? I mean, the most I'm able to do is wear this white shirt. I'm wearing blue jeans. Maybe,
and the flag behind you.
And the flag behind me for that I just found online. But what could we really do other than make Aliyah, which is not the easiest thing, and it's difficult for a lot of people. And hopefully we'll get there one day. But in the interim, what would you recommend?
Well, I'll just say that as long as it's in your focus, because, and really the bottom line, all kidding aside, Israel is the goal. Israel is the goal. That's it. Of every Jew, of Am Yisrael, that's the goal. So we need to work towards it however we could. As long as that's our intention, then we're on the right track. If it's not even part of our thought process when we wake up, or any day of the week, we don't think about it and we don't work towards this goal, then I think that's something that could be implemented.
I would say, in addition to that, certainly, Ezra writes that the level of a person's neshama is proportional to the connection he has to Eretz Yisrael. In order to keep that connection, even though you're not here, I would urge everybody to read about the land of Israel. You can't be here to familiarize yourself with it personally, then familiarizing yourself with it in other ways. Read about the land, the cities, the topography, the produce. Read the history of the 48 war, 56, 67, 73. Read about it. Be experts in the history of the modern state of Israel. Be experts in the land of Israel. Read the Nebi'im. That's what you can do. That's what you can do. And that's my advice, since you asked.
A lot of people have been asking, I'm looking at the chat now, a lot of people have been asking, do you guys feel that you could have done more if you stayed in America? And how do you find the balance of affecting others? Someone even said, would you consider moving back to Brooklyn if you felt that you could could have accomplished more spiritually, teaching people their minhagim, teaching Torah and things like that?
You're talking about a sliding doors type of situation, but it doesn't matter to me how much I could have accomplished, because living here, in my opinion, I'm accomplishing more. In my 1/8 millionth of a contribution to a state that's a work in process, and to a society that needs input from every single citizen. I think it's important, again, putting aside all of the other reasons why we came here, I think it's an important contribution that we're making. We're not trying to make, we're trying to contribute to this society. I'm not trying to make statements about to other people who observe what we're doing and what we're not doing. That's not the goal. Regarding could have I accomplished, yeah, I was pretty active in the community. Kady was active also. I'm sure we could have accomplished a lot. I can't say that it would be more. I mean, I'm very involved. We're both very involved, but on many levels with the students and helping get Eyelid off the ground 12 years ago, and the Minhagim program and the classes I give by Zoom or by to the New York. So we're involved. I mean, I remember when I came the week before I left to Israel in '99, and I went to the Hakamim that I was interacting with, and to tell them I was leaving. A lot of them were very upset. One started yelling at me, "You're crazy! You have so much to do here," and didn't get to me. I'll tell you the truth. I was rather more upset with him. I'm not going to mention who it was, but I was upset with him that that and I told him, I said, I'm 40 years here, and as long as I can remember in a synagogue, I never heard one derasha about the importance of people picking up and going to live in Israel. I never heard that. So, and I think that is today's calling. That is today's the most important thing a Jew can do. So could I have accomplished a lot in the community? Yes. I feel that I'm still doing my part, even living here, but I still think what I'm doing here in society here is more important, a more important contribution to the nation of Israel. And like I said, the community is fantastic, but it's small. I'm now a very small part of something very big, and that makes me feel like I'm a Jew. Makes me feel like a Jew. You want to add to that?
No.
I think that's a great way to close. I just want to let you know throughout, by the way, the SCA board chat has been flipping out saying, guys, what are we doing here? We got to make Aliyah. We got to make Aliyah. Let's do a movement. This is amazing. So I want to thank you for inspiring all of us. Thank you for giving of your time. I want to announce to everyone again that this day of celebration for Yom Haasmaut was put together by SCA and Tanach study in memory of Mr. Stanley Chera A, by the Chera family. Please log on to scatorah.org for further celebrations throughout the day. And all classes from Sunday were uploaded to YouTube, and this will as well hopefully be uploaded to YouTube once I convince Joey to allow me to upload it to YouTube. So thank you again so much. And in about 5 minutes, I believe there's a virtual tour of Jerusalem if anyone wants to follow on scatorah.org. That's it.
Thank you everybody for all your beautiful comments, and just really I miss all of you and I love you guys, and